$15 minimum wage rhetoric with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders doesn't want to pay his workers a $15 minimum wage. However, he's telling everybody else, including Walmart and, of course, Amazon and McDonald's, in particular McDonald's, you have to pay a living wage, and it's $15. Here's a clip with Bernie Sanders.
I think most people are aware that for the last 40 years, the middle class of our country has been in decline. That in Vermont and all over this country, we have people working 2 or 3 jobs. We have people working 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to put food on the table, just to make sure that their families can live with a modicum of dignity. And the reason for all of that is that wages in the United States of America are just too low. And the time is long overdue for us to raise the minimum wage, which is now at the federal level $7.25 an hour, which I think under any definition is a starvation wage.
Yeah, which he's paying. He's paying less than $15 per hour to his own employees on his campaign, and he's telling everybody else you got to pay a $15 minimum wage. And then he's caught not paying them $15 an hour. The media covers this. It's all over the national media. And then what does he have to do? He can't afford to pay them $15 per hour. So then he reduces the hours that they work on a weekly basis, which is what, of course, every other employer, at least for the most part, especially in the service industry, would do. I really want to hear the millennial view on this $15 minimum wage for certain jobs.
So
Squirrel.
So we got what, $15 an hour, and if you work 40-hour work weeks for the whole year, that's about a $42,000 salary. That's a pretty decent salary. But from my understanding is if you're working someone's political campaign, you know you're working long nights. You're probably not going to get paid a lot. You're probably not going to get benefits. But that's all in the hopes of making connections, getting experience in the political world to meet the right people. And on top of that, hopefully maybe your candidate wins, and you get to work in a government position that pays a lot with a lot of great government benefits. But, you know, it's a hypocrisy coming from Senator Sanders, and you're like, dude, really?
Fuji, isn't that kind of like working at a restaurant where you're hoping to work as many hours as you can because you want to get as many tables as you can because you're making tips, but you're not making $15 an hour. You're making a lot less than that,
and
right?
treating your guests great.
Absolutely. I mean, this is fascinating to me. I think it's hilarious that Bernie's getting a little dose of what everyone else, all these businesses have been crying for years in these different states that have already passed higher minimum wages, that they're saying, look, like, we can't afford it, to pay these wages, somebody who's working maybe 6, 7, 8 hours now, if we have to increase their wage, then we're going to cut back hours. Businesses have been saying this all over the country, and now Bernie's seeing it and saying, yeah, I'm going to pay $15 an hour, but your 8-hour day is not going to be cut to a 3-hour day to be able to accommodate that. And people are like, wait, what?
So is it a living wage now that you have less hours at $15 an hour?
That's neutered. That the whole initiative is neutered. And also, I think his campaign staff is unionized too. He made it a union, so it's coming back to bite him in the butt. And you're like, dude.
Well, how about this idea that we have a national minimum wage? The national minimum wage is supposed to be an extremely low minimum wage, and then states, under our system of federalism, can decide on a state-by-state basis what is appropriate for that state, because clearly the minimum wage in the state of New York is probably going to be higher in New York than it would be, I don't know, maybe in the South, like in Alabama, or perhaps in Utah, or, these kinds of states. And it's understandable because that's the way it's supposed to be. But he wants a uniform minimum wage, $15 an hour, which he's not going to pay.
And if you think the $15 minimum wage is going to stop, we already have on record in audio, you can look it up. It just broke, I think, a day or two ago. Representative Tlaib saying, we want $18 and $20 minimum wage an hour. And it's going to keep on going and going. It's never going to be enough. And you're going to be like, okay, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, but then that begs the question. If this is the result of increasing the wage, is the next step, are they going to start mandating hours, minimum hours, right?
Yes.
They're going to start telling businesses, not only do you have to pay out this wage, you have to give them a full 40-hour work week. You have to.
Yes.
God.
And you, Squirrel, you actually brought up a great point, which is, on a campaign, by definition, your workers need to work as long and as hard as is necessary
Door
so
knocking.
You can get the W. You want to win, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes. And so this one-size-fits-all doesn't even fit his own campaign.
No, the campaign, you're volunteering. If you get a benefit or get a salary, some benefits from working the campaign, that's awesome. But a lot of people are volunteers hoping for the benefit of, getting a nice government job or government appointed position where then you can launch your career in being in the government service or getting connected with the right private companies and people that have the ability to furnish your goals and dreams.
Yeah, they're eliminating these types of jobs that were meant to be entry level jobs. You build these really critical skills, like in the service industry, where you build these people skills that are going to
customer service.
Yeah, they're transferable to any career you ever want to go into. And so, if we start mandating wages, people cut back hours. We start mandating hours, they're just going to cut jobs.
Exactly.
And people,
which is what the
expect
federal
tips anymore.
government's been saying. Actually, in the federal government, you have the expert civil servants who are saying that actually millions of jobs will be lost if you put a uniform minimum wage across the country, which makes perfect sense to me.
Well, remember when Obamacare got pushed out? A lot of businesses say if you have more than 20 employees, you have to give them health care benefits. A lot of companies probably just went, going down to 19. Sorry, the youngest person that just joined the workforce. Sorry, we got to let you go. And if you're a good boss or good owner, you would say, here's a good friend of mine that has a business. They're 18. You can be their 19th employee.
Right.
Exactly.
I gave you a reference.
It is almost as if bureaucrats that have done nothing but lived off the government dollar for their jobs don't know how to run businesses. It's a crazy concept.
No
Imagine
way.
that. Yeah. Hey everybody, this is Mark Fisher with Mark and the Millennials. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.